Welcome back. This is Monty once again from DPL Surveillance Equipment. We're a full-service surveillance and security equipment company. We have lifetime guarantees and warranties on all the products. We have 24/7, 365 tech sales and customer support. We have perhaps the largest inventory of items that not only can you buy, but you can rent and lay away as well. Totally revamped and redesigned website. Put a lot of effort into putting new products on there and just making it easy to navigate and find. Use your mobile phone, iPad, or smart device. It should be easy to navigate, easy to find, and we should find that there's an abundance of products to rent, lay away, or buy. Take advantage of the huge articles directory, in addition to the podcasts and the blogs and the demonstration videos. Just lots of information overall. We like to provide an education to our customers, and that's the most important thing, okay? And we do accept Bitcoin. Speaking of Bitcoin, before I get into the article on today's topic of the podcast, we just want to say we put a lot of emphasis on Bitcoin, on cryptocurrencies. Just want to make sure you guys are aware that there is an alternative to the dollar, and that's called Bitcoin, and you may want to look into it and do some research, talk about it to your friends, see what they think about it, and just find out as much information as you can. I've been benefiting from it personally for 5 or 6 years, doing quite well, thank you, and just want to pass that tidbit of information along. So now today's topic sort of ties in to the idea of using Bitcoin, mainly because people in Congress and Washington, D.C. overall, they would lead you to believe that Bitcoin is a huge problem, is a Ponzi scheme, is a fly-by-night operation, is only used by drug dealers and child pornographers and illicit gambling people, money laundering and such. Nothing could be further from the truth. If you take a look at my articles, if you read and research for yourself, just Google money laundering and Wells Fargo, money laundering and UBS, money laundering and HSBC, money laundering and Citibank, whatever. You'll see money laundering and J.P. Morgan Chase. You will see there has been billions and billions and billions of dollars that have been laundered through those institutions, has been going on, is going on, and will continue to go on. So there could be nothing more hypocritical than trying to convey the idea that Bitcoin is the problem, when in actuality the current financial system and the fiat dollar is the problem. Okay, the way things are set up. Big bankers and the big executives at the big banks, they don't go to jail. The little guys go to jail for minor violations when the big guys get away with the major violations, where there's, again, hundreds of millions of dollars and billions of dollars and tens of billions of dollars. Okay, now today's topic is kind of interesting, I think, mainly because, again, the politicians and the regulators will lead us to believe that they're trying to protect us by warning against Bitcoin. Bitcoin is gonna, somehow do more damage, or has done more damage than you've ever seen before when it comes to scams and allowing for things that shouldn't be done. But this particular story is entitled, what is it, the title? You'll see it for yourself. A pension advance scam wipes out retirees, evades financial regulators. Okay? Again, pension advance scam wipes out retirees, evades financial regulators. Now, what happened in this story, there's a gentleman by the name of Scott Kohn, Kohn. Now, Scott Kohn is actually a felon, and he's ripped off more people than you could imagine. Okay, Scott Kohn has been doing everything. He's 64 years old. He's a felon, like I mentioned. He operated a mailbox out of a strip mall in Nevada. He hauled in more than $100 million. Again, that's $100 million that Scott hauled in. What he would do is, as the title implies, he would, if you were entitled to a pension, he would have his advisors come to you, and these were independent advisors, and a number of them actually were registered with the Securities and Exchange Commission. For instance, there was a Gus Marwieh, Marwieh. Gus Marwieh from Austin, Texas, was actually registered with the Securities and Exchange Commission. And he would prey upon these poor pensioners, and because he had a slight angle in his approach with customers, he talked about his strong religious beliefs, and that would give the poor victims the impression that this is a God-fearing person, and I'm going to, God is it's going to make sure that we invest this money and benefit, and everything's going to be all hunky-dory, right? Well, if you believe that, I got a bridge for you that you may want to invest in, because there was a couple, for instance, there's a couple by the name of J.C. and Mary Barb. This is just one of the victims. J.C. and Mary Barb of Hemet, California, they actually invested $78,000, and they gave it to Scott, and Scott was to give them a certain type of return on that $78,000. And see, J.C. and Mary, like a lot of people in retirement age now, they want better returns. They're tired of the 1-2% return or something, and they're tired of the gambling in the stock market. Stocks have been going down lately. So these people were concerned, like a lot of people are concerned nowadays, right? They need better returns on their money. But unfortunately, they went out and somehow saw the wrong people to invest their money with. They invested their money with, again, Gus Marwieh, and he took them for $78,000. Now, basically, J.C. and Mary invested that $78,000, and they were supposed to get a certain type of return above and beyond what the market was giving at the time. And as the article mentions, Scott Kohn was a felon, or it still is a felon, being sought after, and he took the money and ran. Okay. He actually had a prior conviction of selling counterfeit goods. I think it was 2005 or 6, and he served 15 months in jail, and he made a lot of money, of course. And when he got out of jail, obviously this wasn't enough of a punishment to go to jail for that. See, a lot of these guys, they make a ton of money, and then they serve a little bit of time, and then because they didn't get dissuaded from doing further crimes, if the punishment is not harsh enough, they go back and they think about, better scams and schemes, right? So anyway, Scott came up with the idea of the pension advance, and it had some interesting twists to it. I'll try to break it down as concisely as I can. It's kind of convoluted. But anyway, pensioners who didn't want to wait for their monthly payments every month would basically get contacted by these advisors. The advisors, as I mentioned, a number of them registered with the Securities and Exchange Commission, the same commission, and the same people in the financial industry who try to convince us that they're going to keep us safe from predators and such. Anyway, this SEC registered advisor will take your money or buy your rights to your pension. In other words, the monthly payments that you receive as a pensioner are turned over for a number of years to this company ran by Kohn. The advisors would make a nice hefty commission, of course, and you would receive a few monthly payments at a high interest, at a high return on your money. But of course, after a few months, the payments would, the returns would stop coming in, right? You would stop receiving those checks. But you've already turned over the rights to your pension. So, and, of course, your phone calls to the firm in order to get your pension payment returned back to you, because you're no longer getting those the checks in the mail, indicating that you're making a nice return on your money. They would stop coming in. Phone calls were going unanswered, blah blah blah. Letters were going unanswered, and meanwhile your pension payments are going to someone else. And on the other side, another twist to this thing is investors would, make sure I explain this correctly, you could buy, or you could give up a lump sum of money, like the Barbs out of Anemic, California. You can invest your $78,000 or $100,000, get your 7% return, right? And after giving the company future income payments, was the name of the company, after giving future income payments, that lump sum of money, they would, promise you that 7% return or whatever. And, you would, of course, get a few checks, and then they would stop coming in. So not only was future income payments buying the rights to the monthly pension payments. In other words, they had a nice steady income. Those monthly payments, the monthly pension payments, would go into the coffers of future income payments. And then investors would also give future income payments a lump sum of money in hopes of getting a higher return on that money. So future income payments was making it on all sides, every end of the spectrum. They're making money, right? One particular war veteran gave them $2,700. He borrowed $2,700, and he was supposed to pay back $450 a month over a 5-month period. And I think that amounted to a 200% usurious interest. Okay, there's usury laws out there. Major financial companies, they somehow they skirt the laws when it comes to usury. That means excessive interest charges. But anyway, this particular war veteran, he agreed and he signed the contract, and he borrowed $2,700, paid back $450 a month, was dinged to the tune of a 200% interest payment. That's how much interest he paid back, and which amounted to $27,000 over a 5-year period. Again, so this company, Future Income Payments, was raking it in, and this guy again made $100 million, and now he's on the run. And his prior conviction related to the selling counterfeit goods, he actually set up a LLC in the Philippines to hide that money. That money went through this corporation, which he owned. Kohn owned this LLC based out of the Philippines. He was the sole employee, sole owner, and that was just basically a way of sheltering that money while selling counterfeit goods in 2005, 2006. So anyway, this guy had prior convictions, working with registered SEC advisors, dozens of them, selling his product. So let this be a lesson to you guys. Just because someone is registered with the SEC And just because the SEC wants to give us the impression that they're going to be protecting us against the likes of Bitcoin and whatever else that they think is going to that think we can't research and we can't take responsibility for our own money, when we invest in it. Be careful, because SEC registered agents, they can cause you to lose all of your money, just like any other scam artist. Now, I'm a big advocate of Bitcoin, but I can't really say that this is an ideal investment for people that are that old, 60 years old or something. I'm not quite sure whether or not they'll be able to stomach the volatility. But for you young people coming up in the digital age where everything is online, everything is virtual, and you're used to making payments and doing money over the internet, basically, you're going to be more comfortable with Bitcoin. So you can look into it and try to put 5 or 10% of your excess monies that you have into Bitcoins, just enough so you won't have to worry about staying awake at night. 5 or 10% should be the maximum until you learn more, until you're comfortable with doing more. But the reason why I'm doing this podcast is basically just to let you know this is ironic. The SEC should have done a better job. Those advisors, Gus Marui, and the owner of that company, Future Income Payments, Scott Kohn, Kohn, that should have been on their radar. They should have done a better job. There's 25 states in the nation that somehow, this guy was operating out of 25 states. Now they have lawsuits flying back and forth trying to track this guy down. But, you know as well as I do, when you have that much money and you're on the run, you're going to hide that money, and it's going to be very difficult to track him down. And if you get anything back, good luck, because it seems like with his knowledge of how to set up these LLCs and his prior convictions seem to indicate that this guy is well-versed in hiding money and the laws. And besides, as mentioned in the article, this is one of those gray areas. This is not a publicly traded investment product. This is a private investment product. And those advisors took advantage of those pensioners, those retirees, and that they really should have known better. Okay, the advisors really should have known better. The retirees really got a little bit greedy. They were a little bit gullible. But nonetheless, let this be a lesson to you guys, you retirees and pensioners. If you're 60 years old, you're done gambling, okay? Period. You're done gambling. Collect your pension, collect your retirement, whatever. Take your monthly payments, stick them in the bank, pay your mortgage, pay your car note, go on a vacation, enjoy your money. This is not the time to be gambling. Unfortunately, you're going to have to manage your budget, manage your little bit of money that you do have. If it's not enough, just be grateful, because the Barbs, Mary and JC, now they have a lot less money to work with, and so do a lot of other retirees who got taken advantage of by Scott Kohn and Future Income Payments. So anyway, we just wanted to put this out there as a public service announcement, since the SEC and FinCEN and all these other regulators aren't doing a good enough job, obviously, in terms of informing the public. So I'll do it for them, since all they're concerned about right now is trying to scare us away from Bitcoin, because it's competing with the dollar, as if the dollar shouldn't have competition. Okay, competition is good in any industry, including money. So anyway, we're going to wrap this up. You guys have fun. Watch your nest eggs and do your research, okay? And be careful out there. I'm going to wrap this up. Take care. Bye.